Oh, that brings in such a nice ring to my ears as we start this G Crew night off. I love that. Chad, Johnny, Josh, how you guys doing, man?
What's up?
Hanging in there, man.
Chad, what is going on? You have war paint on? Are you going against zombies again?
Yeah, this is what happens when you're in quarantine. Is shit goes down.
You just get bored.
Yeah, I today spent almost all day self-taping for a movie, and this was part of my get-up.
Dude, are they remaking
Braveheart?
No, the Warriors. Dude, you look like you're in the Warriors right now.
That is
and they're remaking it.
Yeah, but this wasn't even half of it. Like, I had like a whole like eye patch on and too, and it was just like, I sent you guys that photo. You saw it. The photo.
It was good.
It was epic.
The photo. But that's what's going on. So yeah, I felt. Oh my God, my phone just fell.
You're crazy.
Yeah,
you're still in it.
Fuck, man, I'm still in it, guys. I'm gonna pick my phone. Josh, have you heard?
I have, in fact, heard. I heard your phone smack to the floor.
But I'm still rolling, boys.
Oh my God! Nah, keep it rolling. It's fine.
Good.
Yeah, it's fine.
I guessed either the Warriors remake or they're doing the sequel to Mad Max. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know what's happening over there.
Something's going on. I'm not quite sure. I'll tell you what, though. Tonight's guest is probably one of my most favorite people. He is one of my most favorite people in the whole world. This is somebody that when I came into the paranormal field, I can distinctly remember him coming over to me at Scarefest and giving me a huge hug and saying, welcome to the paranormal, welcome to the family. And that man is Chip Coffey. And to know him is to love him. And welcome, Chip.
Hi, guys. How are you all?
Good. I'm so excited to have you on. Man, we love you so much.
Thank you. I love you guys, too.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, we go way back. You know, Chad brought up a great point. Scarefest, I think a lot of us met in bizarre places at conventions or whatever, or, I don't know, dark alleyways or abandoned places.
All the above.
Going back, like, I still have a picture of you and I at Scarefest. Whoa, was it 2008 when we first met?
It's been a long time. You know, we've been at a lot of conferences and conventions together, but yeah, I mean, it's been 12 or more years ago at least.
Yeah, a decade.
Another lifetime, yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of like the Lost Boys, you know, all of us. We're aging in reverse and we're vampires. You know, we all come out at night and that's it. That's what we are.
We will come for you.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. So how you been? How you holding up? Everything good?
You know, it's crazy times we're living in right now. And this is day 23, I think, of me not leaving my house. So I am doing my part to self-isolate and hang at home with my cousin Kenny and my 2 dogs, and we're just, you know, trying to make the best of it and stay alive. It's crazy, but we're doing what we have to do. That's the way life is right now. So it's good to be able to see you guys. You know, I haven't seen other faces for a while, so I'm seeing faces that I love on my computer screen, and that's awfully nice.
Absolutely. I think that's the only thing that's kind of like getting us through this whole like quarantine thing as well. You know, just the ability to conversate with one another and talk shop. You know what I mean?
We got to find our own little ways because, you know, this may not be going away today or tomorrow or the next day. So
yeah,
we got to. It's strange. I never thought I would see something like this happen in my lifetime, and I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But, you know, it's our new normal right now, and everybody has to do his or her part to flatten the curve, and it really is. It's a matter of life and death. So, we, you know, as dramatic as that sounds, it's reality. So I'm staying my happy self at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as you're healthy, and that's all that matters right now. Seriously. I mean, you got to be really careful. I saw in the news report today in New York City alone, they were taking away bodies. Like within 24 hours, there was massive amounts of bodies, just people dying.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And you've got people that are still going out and about like there's nothing going on. And folks, we just can't do that. We can't. I mean, I know some people still have to go to work, and I know some people are going kind of stir crazy and they're getting cabin fever, but
yeah,
the only way that we're going to, in my opinion, the only way that we're going to solve this problem is, for the time being, to self-isolate and, pray, or shake chicken bones and dance naked under the moon or something, that they come up with a virus, or a vaccine, rather, for the virus that's going to work, that's going to be effective.
Yeah, definitely. I know. It's wild times. I mean, we've been talking about this a lot, different people and stuff like that all over the world, and it's kind of creepy. I went outside for a second one day just to get some fresh air just outside the house, and I heard like a leaf blow, and I thought it was a zombie coming after me. That's how weird it is. Psychologically, it's really tripping people out, Like, I think something's happening, like, like the movie 28 Days Later or something weird. It's just bizarre. One day we were doing this podcast, and Chad, like, dived off of his table. We thought a zombie broke in his house.
Oh, yeah.
I would expect that from you, Lindbergh.
Yeah. Well, in truth be told, I thought my dog was running out of the house, and I am terrified of her, like, leaving where I can't see her or, like, darting in the street. So I literally hopped up, and then everything came crashing down. So it was the love of the babies.
Aww.
Yeah.
and you got your little puppy near you, right, Chip? Abigail?
I do. Abigail is actually sleeping right next to me, right here. She's like snoozed out, and if you rub her belly, she's like, I'm a happy girl.
Yeah. I need to be reincarnated as a puppy, so I can just like lay around and be rubbed. It sounds nice.
Your own ass.
Nice. Or Chad, what are you doing later?
What up, licking your own ass?
That one.
That's a different show.
Right, yeah.
No, this is pretty much that's G Crew.
That's pay-per-view.
The G Crew has many synonyms and names for it. So we can describe the G Crew in some of
now I'm getting there, yeah.
Yeah, some people think the G stands for Groff, but realistically, the G can mean whatever you feel it means.
Yeah. Yeah. I can think of a few G words.
Yeah.
There we go. Chip, so let's go way back. Let's start from the past. Like, I know a ton about you, but I think a lot of the people that'll be listening don't know that you started off really young age. You did theater at one point, right?
I did.
Tons of stuff. So how did you get like involved in doing all this? And then basically, let's talk about your gifts later,
It's very interesting that I was one of those damnable child actors that started out in the business at a young age. And, I did theater work and that sort of stuff, some minimal television when I was growing up. And I went to high school and did theater all through high school, and then went to college in New York State at a small little private school in Elmira, New York. And one of my majors, I had a double major. I had two majors. One was psychology and one was theater. And I did theater all through school. So I've been acting most of my life. And I've done like 150 plus roles on stage. I've done some movie and television work, commercial work. So Mr. Lindbergh and I have that in common. Although the body of my work is not nearly as impressive as his. And that's kind of what I've done. And I got to say, while we're on this topic, and I just brought up my buddy Chad L., so I'm on TV, which is all there is really to do here except surf the internet and, take a shower a couple of times a week and change up jammies. But I'm watching TV, and they're showing a lot of old reruns now. So I'm flipping around the other day, and it was Chad Lindbergh Day. And I've got to say that on television, there was Chad Lindbergh on Law & Order SVU.
Yeah.
And then that day or the next day, there was Chad Lindbergh on NCIS.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hold on a freaking minute. Wait a second. And just so you know, Lindbergh, here's the deal. You actually had screen time with Mariska Hargitay, right?
Yes, a lot.
Okay, I hate you. Because she's like, even though I'm a gay man, she's like my celebrity crush, 100%. And do you know I have this incredible amount of people that I know who have done Law and Order SVU or know Mariska, and none of you bitches will put me in touch with her.
I know. Well, you know, truth be told, I filmed this way before I even met you. You know what I mean? So I'd be surprised if she even remembered my name. She probably would not remember my
I'm sure you made a lasting impression on her. Let's put it that way.
Thank you. She'll remember the episode. I'm sure she would remember the episode. But she was very kind. She was so nice, and
I've heard that about her. You know, I've heard.
Great.
You know, I numerous people that I know have done guest spots on that show, and you know, I've tried to bribe and wheedle and whatever. Nope, haven't worked yet, but. Yeah, that's been kind of fun for this poor little Southern boy that grew up part of his life also in New York State. I've been really fortunate enough after being in this business for a while to meet a lot of people that have been on television. You know, people and it's still exciting to me to see. You know, I watch you on TV and I go, oh, there's Chad. And people that I've met, it's just exciting to have done that. But you know, I enjoyed my career as an actor. I haven't done any acting work. The last thing I did was a little independent movie several years ago. We filmed in Topanga and in Topanga Canyon, and it was a kind of an alien science fiction kind of a movie, and it was baptism by Chip acting fire again. I think because we did I had like a crap load of lines to learn, and Chad, you know this to be true. If you don't learn lines on a regular basis, I mean, it becomes more difficult. It's a skill. Yeah. So I had I think 22 scenes to film in 2 days.
Wow.
And they worked my ass off, no doubt, on that little indie film. And we plugged it out.
Wow.
But it was challenging. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell, that's Chip's limited acting career. But you know, and I've written plays. I've written 35 plays. Oh, wow. They've all been produced. You know, I ran three theater companies in Atlanta here where I live at one point in time. So I do have a rich history of being involved in the entertainment industry in a different fashion than reality television or paranormal television.
Yeah, it's funny talking about Chad for a second. I did the same thing with Chad a couple of years ago when we became really good friends, and I was watching Sons of Anarchy. I was watching the whole series. I was so into it. And then I'm like in episode, I don't even remember, like episode 8 or whatever it was.
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2, right? And I'm watching, and I just did Ghost Stalkers with Chad, and I'm sitting at home. I'm so into it, and all of a sudden, these guys, you know, the main characters go around this truck, and here's Chad, a drug addict, coming around getting beat up, and I'm like, what, Chad? What? Like he pops up in like every show I know, everything, like in everything.
I know. I mean, he popped up. Chad, you popped up again last season in NCIS. Is that you did, right?
Yeah. They brought me back.
Man.
Joey, what's his name? Joey?
Peanuts. Joey Peanuts.
There's a lot of jokes there. There's really a lot of jokes there.
Oh, I know. That's why I had to enunciate Peanuts.
Yeah, Joey Peanuts. You gotta say that 5 times fast.
Oh man!
And eventually it'll come out sounding like Joey Penis, just so you know this.
Exactly right.
Peanuts.
Nice.
Oh my gosh!
Sounds like some like quirky mob movie. Hey, Joey Peanuts, get over here.
Yeah. Like peanuts.
Oh my
I gotta
gosh.
go to break this guy.
Yeah, seriously. I gotta go check the papers. You know, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
It's crazy, man. Like the careers, how it takes us one way and then the journey takes us another. And then, you know, just getting to know you and we had the opportunity to work together, Chip, on multiple things. But I mean, like I loved working with you recently on Paranormal Pajama Party. I label it as PPP. I love this series, man. So tell us how you came up with it. Let's talk about this for a second, because I love this series.
I do too, first of all. And how I came up with it was I was talking to a friend of mine who is a producer, and she and I sort of came up with the concept, and we did a couple of episodes in New York, and it really didn't go anywhere, and it just kind of stayed there for a few years. And then I wanted to revive it. And you and I were talking about me doing something with VidiSpace, and I tossed that idea into the mix, and we're like, yeah, let's try this. And we started the ball rolling and filmed, I think, 8 episodes. 8. So, and, you know, for a first season of shows, we got some pretty darn good people in that first season of shows. Yeah. And, I mean, you know, when you think that Evan Rachel Wood from Westworld was on a show, that Willie Ames from 8 is Enough and Charles in Charge was in an episode, Olivia Hussey was in an episode, Derek Waters from Drunk History was in an episode. I mean, those are pretty cool people to have on a first round of folks on a show. And, you know, now there's other people that if we go back and do more, they're sort of saying, yeah, I would love to do an episode. Morgan Fairchild wants to do an episode.
Yeah.
You know, Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo and, you know, those types of things wants to come on and do an episode.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Chad Lindbergh should get in bed with me.
Yes.
You know? I think the whole entire G crew should get in bed with you.
Oh, yeah.
That's possible.
We're gonna need a bigger bed, boys.
No. We need a
we'll get in there.
queen bed. Just a queen
Just a
bed.
queen.
You know what I'm saying,
Just
Johnny?
get nice and comfy in there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can work it out.
We'll crawl into bed with you anytime, Chip Coffey.
That's probably doable. I don't consider myself easy and cheap, but I consider myself accessible and affordable. You know?
Yeah. We got this, guys.
Love it.
We got this. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Johnny and I have been working out in our isolation, so we're ready for this challenge. I love it. I mean, the show is incredible, honestly. I love doing it with you. You know, it was so cool, especially meeting Rachel Evan Woods and talking to these people. Like Derek Waters was so cool, and hearing their ghost stories and hearing like just other sides of the stories that you don't hear about.
What I really loved about it was it really felt so. I think everybody just forgot that the cameras were rolling.
Yes,
to a great extent, and it was just so. It was just so personal and private and intimate insofar as some of those people just reveal things I don't think they've ever said in public.
Right.
And that was really kind of cool that it had that sort of a feel of just two old friends catching up and talking about stuff.
Yep.
And so that was what I really loved the most about doing the filming of those episodes was that it felt so in the moment and authentic. That was what felt so good about it.
It was cool. So we would have all the cameras, everything, lights, everything kind of prepped and ready, right? So when they would walk in the room, the guests would be so excited. So they just hop into bed with Chip, and you don't know what's going to happen. So some would go completely under the covers. I think Derek Waters did that.
He did.
Right under the covers. Some just lay on top, you know, and jumped right in, and Chip and the guests just start talking, and they just start like, and I'm already just rolling cams because I'm like, you know, it's so canny. You just don't know what you're going to get in that moment. So it's just, I don't know. It was just such a laid back, chill show. There was nothing scripted. There was not like, all right, let's step back or let's overproduce or whatever. It was what it was. And it's just, that's when gold comes out of stuff like that.
I was just
going to
say, man, like that's super cool. Like, number one, you don't ever see anything like that, right? But number two, like, these are your pals. And because of that friendship that you guys already have, it's so organic. It just happens. You know what I mean? You have gold right there automatically.
And some of these folks, like Evan Rachel Wood, with social media, it's so funny, you know, with Evan from Westworld, she tweeted me and we developed a relationship on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, and really that was the way that began. And she came to one of my events in LA, and then when I asked her to do this, she was like, yeah, absolutely. The same thing with Olivia Hussey, who was, I mean, she is the definitive Juliet from the Franco Zeffirelli movie, Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
You know, we started communicating on Twitter, and then we had a phone conversation, and when I asked her to come and do the episode, she was right there. Derek Waters asked me, he was a huge fan of my work, and of course I love drug history, so it was an immediate mutual admiration society, and when I asked him, he was like, oh my God, of course I will. And Willie Ames is one of the funniest ones. We met through mutual friends. Willie was so funny because I'd never met Willie in person. We had talked on the phone and talked on social media many, many times. And Willie's this lovely man who's living now with his wonderful wife, Winnie. They live in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Oh.
And I was going to go do one of my coffee talk shows in Vancouver and invited him and his wife and some friends of mine from college that now live there to come and have dinner with us, me and my little Chip Coffey crew. So we met for dinner, and Willie walks in, and he had said before he came, he said, I want you to know this, I'm going to kiss you right on the lips when I see you for the first time. And right in the middle of downtown Vancouver, I said, bring it, Ames. And right in the middle of downtown Vancouver, he walked into the damn restaurant and locked lips with me. But that episode, and I think Nick will agree with this, that episode was it was all over the boards. It was funny. It was sad. It was spooky with his stories, but it went all over the place. But it was so, you know, when I watched them, and even though I was there for those episodes, I watched them like a viewer would watch them, and it makes me emotional when I see some of this stuff because it's just so freaking real.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. It's just so real. Yeah. And sometimes very raw with the fact that, you know, people are just, they're just laying themselves wide open and saying, hey, this is who I am.
Right. Yeah, it's super genuine. It really is. And absolutely right. That's what I loved about the show, too. It's great. You guys, on VideoSpace, got to check it out. So when at an early age, did you know that you had this psychic gift, or did you know that you had this intuitive sense, or, you know, let's talk about that, Chip. Like, when did you start to realize having, you know, these things happen to you that maybe you didn't understand, maybe you understand, or just grew into it?
Actually, it all started before I have conscious memory. I was told by my parents that as a child I'd be playing with my toys, and I'd stop what I was doing and look over at the phone, and shortly thereafter the phone would ring. And then as I became verbal, I would stop what I was doing, look over at the phone, say a name, and shortly thereafter that person would phone on the other end of the phone. They'd call.
Wow.
And then I started knowing things about people and places and things that I just couldn't know using my 5 human senses. I lived in a haunted house in upstate New York growing up as an adolescent boy from like 10 to almost 14, and then moved to a haunted farm in South Carolina after that. And it was never a surprise to my parents because both my mom and dad, their family had spiritual or paranormal or supernatural things happen in their family. So having a psychic child wasn't really that, you know, they weren't blown out of the water by that. They just treated me, you know, like any other kid. So I've always been psychic. I've always been able to say I was a psychic kid or a psychic adult. The mediumship stuff, however, didn't start until later in life. And it came when I was in my late 40s. And at the time I was working in the travel industry, and the deceased brother of one of my coworkers in the travel business started communicating with me inside my head, and I thought I'd lost my mind. And I finally got around to telling her what I was getting inside my head, and she validated and corroborated the messages I was getting, and that sort of flung open the door. So I think if it had happened, if the talking to the dead had happened before that time, I probably wouldn't have handled it well. But I had a few years, you know, I'd experienced a lot of things, and I was ready for it, I guess.
And I'm curious, Chip, like, what does that sound like when you receive a message from somebody? Like, do you actually hear their voice in your head? Like, what is that like?
I wish I could tell you, my darling, that there's one way, but there really isn't. It's however they can get those messages across.
Right.
It sometimes is like just a snapshot image or a short video. It can be they'll put a line from a song or a movie because they know I'm kind of into some pop culture things, or they'll just put through a feeling. Or what's really interesting is, because I typically don't know my clients, is that if it's something they want to get across to me, they will put something that I'm familiar with in my life that parallels what we're supposed to be talking about with that client. Like, at one point in time, I don't know why they threw my cousin Kenny, who's sitting right over here on the couch, they threw his mom, my Aunt Polly, into my head, and I didn't know what they were wanting me to mention with my client. Are they wanting me to mention her aunt? What are they wanting me to mention? You know, they wanted me to mention where she was born, where she moved, when she got married. I didn't know what that was all about. So I sort of went down the rabbit hole with the client and said, all right, they're putting my aunt inside my head, my dad's sister inside my head, and, you know, she was my, like Tom Sawyer, I had an Aunt Polly. And she goes, I had an Aunt Polly too.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So they didn't throw a random woman that I would have gone, who the hell are you, in front of my face. But this woman had an Aunt Polly also. But Spirit gets messages or information across any way they can. Let me give you one more example that I found really funny. One time I was talking to this lady, you know, we were talking to her dead grandmother. And Grandma showed me everything to do with China. Tiananmen Square, Chinese food, fortune cookies. So I said, what's the deal with your grandma in China? Nope, she didn't figure that out. I had no idea. So I'm like, okay, let's just push that aside for a minute. And then Grandma showed me one red rose. Single red rose. Didn't mean anything to the lady. They didn't put one rose in her hand when she was laying in her coffin. Didn't put one rose in her grave. She didn't like roses. There was none of that stuff that she could think about with roses. Grandma was kind of a wildflowers gal. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell Grandma's trying to do here, but she's giving me two things that we can't figure out. So I'm like, I don't get it. China rose, China, and the girl goes, oh, wait a minute. Do you think it's possible that she could be talking about the fact that when she died, I inherited her China and it's a rose pattern? Well, of course that's what Grandma meant. All she wanted me to say was China rose. And to get me to say China rose, we have to do the rest of the work and put that puzzle together. Why Grandma just didn't send me one cup or a saucer with a damn rose on it, I don't know. Maybe Grandma couldn't do that. But, you know, it's a sometimes real disjoint way of communicating. But, I mean, it's a real weird sort of a thing when you say you're talking to the dead anyway.
Do you ever see the entities, the ghosts, the spirits come through? Like, do you see them as solid figures sometimes?
Not always. And I don't generally see them. It's more a sense of them, although I have certainly seen dead people. And when I see them, for the most part, they come across looking just like they're alive. A few days ago, was the anniversary, a couple of days ago actually, was the anniversary of my first visit to the Stanley Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
And it was 13 years ago, I think, when I went for the first time. And the first time I went, I got there after a particularly turbulent flight and a crazy nighttime drive through the mountains to get from the airport to the Stanley. You know, you've been there.
I've been there, yeah. It's windy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I got there, and I was with a friend of mine, and she went to the bathroom, you know, downstairs where the coffee shop and all that stuff is.
Yeah. Yep.
And she went to the bathroom, and I'm just looking at the stuff on the walls and everything. And around the corner came this old man. And I'm like, oh, he's kind of curious looking, kind of reminded me a bit of, you know, like Kentucky gentleman, he had a beard, you know. And he goes, hello. And I said, hello. And he said, you are welcome here.
Oh.
And I said, well, thank you very much. And he nodded, and he walked on around and into the area where the coffee shop is. And I was standing in the hallway, kind of waiting for my friend, and I thought, well, that was kind of weird. And I was talking to my friend about it, went upstairs and told some other people about it, and they asked me what he looked like, and I described him, and Chris Fleming, actually, was there. And he said, hold on a minute. And he said, come with me. And he took me, and there's a picture on the wall of a man sitting on the porch of what I found out was the Stanley Hotel, and there's a woodpecker or some kind of bird on the table with him. And it's a very classic picture. And he points to the picture, and he said, look at this. And I said, yeah, that's the guy that I just saw downstairs. He goes, that's Mr. Stanley. That's F.O. Stanley. He died like 60 years ago.
Oh, man.
Wow.
But it's not, I mean, instances like that are very rare that I'm like going to see somebody and have a full-blown conversation with them.
Yeah.
And did you how did you feel when you walked away? Did something tell you like, wait a second, that was something different?
It felt kind of weird, but I didn't know if it was just because, you know, I'd just been through this traumatic experience of flying in and driving up, and already my nerves were jangled, were jagged, and it felt nice, but it felt like, you're right, it felt like there was something just that didn't feel like, yeah, you know, just something like, what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you were at a state of being vulnerable in a sense. Right. So you're like, all your senses are down. You feel just, I don't know, your equilibrium is a little bit off from the car ride, the plane ride and such. And you're standing there and you're finally getting your fresher breath air, I guess, in a sense. And, you know, you already have that ability to sense and hear and whatnot. But then all of a sudden you see this physical, what appears to be some sort of a person, solid figure in your reality.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you have to get to that vulnerable state. Maybe you were at that vulnerable state with your abilities and it just opened up another part where it allowed it. Or maybe that's just how things work in this weird universe, right? Maybe that's just a moment in time. I don't know.
And you just said exactly, Nick, how I kind of describe things. I don't know. Yeah. I say that all the time. We don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much that we hypothesize about or speculate about.
Right.
You know, people ask me how I do what I do, and I'm like, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll say things to me, and I'm like, I'm clueless. I ain't got nothing. Right. You know, so we work in a very weird arena, and we don't know what we don't know, and all we do is we keep digging and exploring and trying to scratch beneath the surface or look beyond the obvious, and that's all we can do is just being open to trying to take a look at things and maybe get a different or fresher perspective about it.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem too in the world we live in, right? Because you have people like us that are super open-minded. Like, I'm not in your shoes. I can't experience what you're experiencing every single day when you wake up, and vice versa. But there's so many judgmental people. It's like, how do you deal with that sometimes? I know how I deal with it, you know? Like, but how do you, like, and you don't even have to answer this because it's kind of a ridiculous question how you deal with it. You're just like, F off, all right, whatever. You know, you ignore the shit and the trolls and whatever. But I guess it's like, how do we evolve as human beings? In a sense, if we can't be open-minded in this vast universe, right? It's like,
it's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I have people that love the work that I do and respect me for who I am and what I do.
right.
And then you've got those people that are the naysayers, and they call themselves skeptics. When in reality, most of the people who label themselves skeptics that I've come into contact with have not really been what I would call a skeptic. They've been rabid disbelievers who try to take a crap on other people's belief systems. Mm-hmm. And that's just not right. I've encountered skeptics who were not appreciably different from the Westboro Baptist Church members. Mm-hmm. That all they're doing is they're going to come at you. If you don't believe what they believe, then you are wrong. You are dead wrong, and they can be rabid. That's the best word, and mean and ugly, and they'll go for the throat. So I try to ignore them to a point, and then sometimes, like you said, you just have to tell them to F off. and that's basically what you do. But I try not to engage with them too much because they thrive on attention. They absolutely thrive on attention. And in their own way, they're trying to they down other people for wanting to have some sort of fame or celebrity, and yet they crave that at the same time in their own sort of twisted way. They crave that celebrity that comes from the work that they do. So,
100%. Yeah. It's true. I mean, and like we all follow each other on Twitter. Like, I see your tweets, Chip. Like you can get pretty sassy, and I do too. Because sometimes you just got to be like, God, fuck you.
I get in trouble. I get in trouble every now and then for that.
Wait, but isn't that the problem though? Like, here's the problem, right? Just because, Chip, you've been on TV, Chad, you've been in a movie, whatever, right? It's like the problem is this: you got some whoever on the other side of a keyboard quickly saying whatever they want, whatever. It's uncensored. I could say the most horrible thing to you on Twitter right now. And you know what? If I was just somebody living in this world, just a somebody, right? I can do that. But Chip, if you reply, or Chad, you reply, oh, now it's not all right. It's not all right anymore because you.
No, it's not okay for me to say, God forbid that I have a political opinion or an opinion on something that's going on in the world, or say something about a reality TV star on a show that I've watched. Automatically, well, who the F do you think you are? You know who the fuck I think I am? I think I'm Chip Coffey. Kiss my ass.
I love it.
I love it.
I freaking love that.
What's your saying, Chip? You'll cut a bit. Can you say that for us? And like, if anyone comes at the G crew, I'll cut a bitch.
You're gonna use me for this, aren't you? I feel like I'm being used now.
Here comes the sound bite.
You ready for this? All right, you ready for this? If anyone comes from the let me do it again. Take two. If anyone comes for the G crew, I'll cut a bitch.
Love it. That is the best. That stuck to the tape.
Makes the world go round right there.
But that's the problem, right? We all have to be human. At the end of the day, we're all human. Strip everything away, human, right? And we have to be open-minded. We don't all have to agree about whatever the beliefs are, whatever your perspective is, but we can all get along. We don't have to hate each other. We can love each other. We can be friends. We can have disagreements, but unfortunately, yeah, you're right, Chip. Sometimes you just got to step up to the plate and swing.
Signs. What is it? Swing, Mel. Swing. Isn't that it?
Yes.
That's it. Yep.
Yes.
Chip, kindred spirits. Amazing.
Kindred spirits.
Amazing. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the success of that and basically your involvement and, everything that kindred spirits kind of is built on and stuff and how it's going.
Okay. Kindred Spirits just finished its 4th season, and for seasons 1, 2, and 3, I'd done some guest appearances with Amy Bruni and Adam Berry, who are the stars of the show. I'd done one episode in season 1, 1 episode in season 2, 5 in the 3rd season, and then I was fortunate enough to be asked to join as a regular cast member during the fourth season, and we did 13 episodes.
What about one of the most profound moments that you can remember during Kindred Spirits? Was there a location, a personal experience you had, something that you walked away and said, wow, this was a moment that just kind of shook me up a bit?
There's an episode of the show, and I think it was the first season. And there was an episode called Lost Amy. And it was filmed just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Amy and Adam had gone in, and the woman who lived in the house thought and told them that she thought that the person haunting her house was her grandmother. And I picked up the grandmother, but totally aside from that, when I did my walkthrough, I picked up a little girl. Nobody had any clue what the little girl was all about, and I picked up the child who had been abused. And I thought her name was like Emily or Amelia or something like that. As it turned out, Amy and Adam did some research, and I felt like before they did the research, I told them the little girl had been abused. There was some level of abuse. She was there because she felt comfortable with being around the people in that house. But I didn't know she was attached to that house or not. They found out that less than a mile from the house, at one point in time, there was a little girl who had died when her stepmother put her into a scalding hot bathtub to punish her.
Whoa.
And her name was Amy.
Wow.
Man.
So when she came in, geez, I'm getting emotional about this. When she came in during a session that we did to try to communicate with her, there was a boo buddy, the little bear type thing. And he senses changes in temperature. Mm-hmm. And remember, the little girl was scalded to death in the bathtub. She had second and third degree burns over, I think, 70% body, something like that.
Man.
She died of cardiac arrest in the hospital. She was like 3 years old.
Wow. God.
Yeah. And we're trying to communicate with her, and Boo Buddy, one of the things Boo Buddy said, but why at that exact moment, I think, and I'm probably paraphrasing what Boo Buddy said, but he said, "Is it getting warm in here?" And the whole thing, the way that correlated with what had happened to the little girl and the feelings that just it elicited in all of us, that was one of the things that was just heartbreaking. And that episode stuck with me a lot, especially when it has anything to do with a child. Mm-hmm. Those episodes are awfully hard when you know that a child has died.
Yeah, I mean, man, that's impactful. You know, I think it's just more to the cause of, like, you know, why we're put on this earth. Like, that was your moment, I feel, where you're helping. You know, you're helping kindred spirits. You're helping the situation of what's going on, and maybe this child didn't have a voice. You know,
and she was looking for acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And she was looking for acceptance, and they told her, you know, you can go on if you want to go on, but if you want to stay here and you feel comfortable here, of course you're welcome to stay here. But that's what I love about that show, is that it's kind of like social work for the living and the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's helping both people who are in this dimension and in the afterlife. So that's the joy of being a part of that show. You never know when it's gonna, when you're going to, or we're going to help the living or the dead.
Right.
And most of the times it's both.
I got to say, when Kindred came to the Axe Murder House in Villisca, I was overly excited to find out that you were coming, Chip.
I will tell you that I remember it was very, very cold, and I'd many times said that the murder house was on my bucket list. And you and I had met at some conventions in the past, and I was very happy to know that you were there, and what a joy it was to meet your kid also. And, you know, she's just a delight. Just so you know, please give her my love.
Absolutely. And, you know, just the fact that I brought her down and you guys just sat and talked to her, you know, it really made her day. So it's, I was even a bigger fan afterwards.
Well, she was just a delight. She was an absolute delight. And being there was just, you were so hospitable, and everyone that we came into contact with, you know, the people at the hotel where we stayed, what a nice group of people. And, you know, I really enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, just so you know, I don't know if you saw it, but I did a broadcast with Amy and Adam the other night. And one of the things that they said, someone asked the question during that broadcast, where would you like to go back and visit for another place from Kindred Spirits? And both of them at the exact same time said, we want to go back to Villisca.
That's awesome.
Come on back and you can do my house.
They want to go back to Villisca. So this is what I want to know, and I need to ask them. They said, we've come up with some new information, so I need to hop on the phone and figure out what this new information is about Villisca they've come up with. Do you know, Johnny Hauser?
The only new information I could think of would possibly be the book, The Man That Got Off the Train, which kind of goes into a early traveling serial killer. But that
I don't know. I'm interested. I'm interested in finding out just what they're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And y'all can come over to my house. I live in Mary Peckham's house, the lady that found them that morning. And so the Moore children actually used to play in the house I'm sitting in right now. You know, she was like a grandmother to them. And an interesting thing, my daughter texted me at 3 a.m. She goes, Dad, I'm in the bathroom. I can't get out, and I'm hearing giggling and laughing. And so I get up and I go for the door, and the door's stuck, and I like kick the door open, and she's terrified. Well, later on, I think about it, and so I get a hold of the overnights that were at the Axe Murder House that night. I go, what were you guys doing at this particular time? And they go, oh, we went and did an EVP session in the attic. And I thought, oh, okay, it wasn't them outside. And then they come back with, it was unusually quiet all of a sudden. So I thought, were those poor kids coming over here? And that's how they get away from that mess over there, which, come on over, kids, you know. But was that the humming and giggling that she was hearing?
Man,
who knows?
And, you know, people tell me, you know, who are the spirits? Ask me, who are the spirits that we're communicating with? And what we have to realize is, lots of times, because they have no body, it can be people that have an attachment to that location, or the people that are there, or it can be anybody random that's just coming and joining in. Because they don't have a body, it can be somebody from around the globe or whatever. You know, that's an unusual set of circumstances, but, you know, unless you really identify who that person is somehow, it could be somebody random and not necessarily someone that's either attached to the location or whatever. Like when I was in the Axe Murder House, I didn't pick up a lot about the kids. I didn't pick up a lot about the kids, and so maybe they weren't there at that time. Maybe their souls weren't there while we were there, or while I was there.
And I often thought, you know, I hope they're not there. That's horrible. I don't think they're there. I've never got that feeling. I feel like that place is just haunting itself with its own energy that we probably somewhat created by allowing.
You know, and again, I feel like you're right, because it's like a cemetery. I don't think spirits and ghosts hang out in cemeteries. I think when we go there looking for them, we're like calling them up. We're conjuring them up. And we're saying, come and be with us here. Come and be with us here. So maybe that's what's happening in every haunted location. My mother died in a hospice center here in Atlanta, okay? And my dad died at the Veterans Hospital here in Atlanta. I don't want to think of my family being at the hospice center or at the Veterans Administration Hospital.
Yeah.
I want to think of them being able to be wherever the heck they want to be if they want to come back into this dimension. So it would be awful to think that the children that died at Villisca were somehow prisoners of that household. that would be a horrible way to think. And so many people also think that if you can communicate with the dead, that they're somehow earthbound or meandering, wandering spirits. And one of my goals is to educate people and say, no, the vast majority of them are not earthbound spirits. They've already completed their journey and crossed over, if that's what they've transitioned. And they come back to this realm periodically and temporarily to interact with us.
Yeah.
And I never understood, like, spirit being trapped in a house. I never heard of that until Beetlejuice because of the sandworm. It's like, what? Why would they be trapped?
I know. It's like, and so many people are like, oh, did you help that poor spirit cross over? You know what my theory on that is? I'm alive, they're dead. If they don't know how to cross over, how the hell am I going to tell them how to do it?
Sure. It makes total sense. Yeah, absolutely. Weird.
I mean, I don't know. I can say, go to the light. I can say, finish your transition when you're ready. I can pray for them and ask whoever to come and get them. Loving benign spirits, angels, whatever, come get them. But, as far as, here's a funny story. I was at an event one time, and it was an event investigation, and there was a spirit that had been communicating with us. And, there were a lot of people there, and they started boo-hooing, oh, that spirit's trapped here in the building. And I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. This is just turning into hysteria time. And so they're like, you need to cross over. You need to finish your transition. Go on to the light. And they played back someone was recording with a digital recorder, and they played it back in here. You need to finish your transition. You need to go to the light. And the EVP goes, fuck you.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that spirit was like, pump the brakes.
It's true. We don't know. Like, that's the one thing I can say with an absolute fact is, like, I don't fucking know. Like, so many people out there act like they know what they're doing, and it's like, man, I have no fucking clue. Maybe we could just kind of, like, pull back a curtain a little bit here and there, but, the further you go into it, it just... the more it's crazier. It's like
it's going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Through the looking glass.
Yep.
Exactly.
We don't know.
Exactly. It's kind of
when you start thinking you know.
Yeah.
And ego takes over.
Then you're an asshole.
It's kind of like the G crew. We come on here. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We just go down that rabbit hole into this. Yeah. And look, every single conversation you could possibly think of happens, from music to film. So who knows what the F we're going to talk about? This is what I love. I mean, it's crazy thinking back at the Axe Murder House that you guys are talking about. I have a really cool memory from when I filmed Ghost Adventures there. I was laying upstairs by myself in the kid's bedroom, Johnny, and I captured that amazing recording, so clear as day, that said, I killed 6 kids, right? Is that what it was? I got that recording.
Yep, yeah. I killed 6 kids. Just
wow.
You know what I mean? It wasn't kids. It wasn't anything else. It was a male voice saying that very clear on the digital recorder. And I just had it really still laying on the kid's bed up there.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it's definitely creepy. Like, what's happening?
I think that place is almost like a mirror. It will give you what you want, what you're looking for. Because I watch one group, we had such a great night with the kids. I felt one hug me. And the next night, they're running out of there terrified. I think whatever they're looking for, that house will show them.
Johnny, I think you're really onto something, my friend, and I'll tell you this. I think that do you know who Mark Macy is? Mark Macy, I don't even know. Mark Macy had a website called, I think, worlditc.net.
Yep.
And one of Mark Macy's, he shows pictures of images taken from TV screens and videos of people that just have appeared, using that as a platform. But one of the things that Mark Macy says, one of his quotes that I always remember is, the intent of the seeker affects the results.
Yeah.
And I believe with whatever intention that you go into a location with, that's what you're going to get. It's like with a Ouija board. People are horrified of Ouija boards. I played with a Ouija board my whole freaking life, never had a problem. But I don't go into it with the intention that I'm going to conjure up Captain Howdy. And, you talk about TV shows, the TV shows. If you go in with the intention that you're going to have demons around every corner, or there's going to be, Mr. Boogedy or Beetlejuice or whoever in that house, you probably are going to have that. You're going to attract that. You're going to call that up. You're going to conjure it up. But if you go in not expecting to come into contact with, something that's incredibly evil, you may or may not. But the likelihood is that you're going to, whatever your intent is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely believe that. 100%.
And I've spent about 20 years collecting data from this one location. I've seen no patterns in moon phases, birthdays, anniversaries, storms, the eclipse, nothing. But I've seen patterns in people and what they're looking for.
Yeah.
This is why I love talking to you guys. It's no, seriously. I mean, the paranormal in the sense in this world we live in, just in general. Forget the paranormal, just being human, right? It's kind of like going back to what Johnny Zaffis told us when we talked to him last time. Don't forget to stop, take in the fresh air, and be human. Yeah. Right? Because I think that's the problem. We get so caught up in trying to figure out. Like you said, Johnny, 20 years of you being and investigating at the Axe Murder House, Chip Coffey, going there in your experiences, and me being there. It's like, you're absolutely right. Like, all of us, we don't know. But the thing is we're living in such a weird world with different dimensions, different realities, different personalities. We're all human living here, communicating. But what is those layers revolving around everything that's happening? We don't know, So
the one thing I took away from the 20 years of investigating the Axe Murder House is the real life friendships I've made with Chip and Nick and Chad and Josh. I mean, that's what I take away from all of that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. I feel the same.
Yep.
It's. I'm all about associations. I'm all about forming bonds with people and having that connection with people. So I agree with you 100%, Mr. Hauser.
Well, it's going to be pretty badass when, all said and done, and we're not human anymore. We're that energetic form that can move on. We're going to have a strong-ass army.
Let me just tell you this.
World.
I'm going to come back, and I'm going to be – you talk about poltergeist.
Yeah?
I'm going to be one of the noisiest bitches you've ever seen. So, it's going to be – I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to come back, and there's some people that I am just going to bug the F out of.
It'll be great.
And, they're going to see like a floating scarf in the air.
100%. 100%.
Oh, I love
it. I'm going to try to make people crap the bed as often as I can,
Yep. Well, I think a lot of us G-crews walk around naked, so be prepared.
Well,
you're coming back alive.
No.
I'll be walking to my bathroom like at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, just naked, walk in the bathroom, and in the darkness, I see this glowing scarf just come floating. I'm like, oh, whoa, Chip, you got me. Just pee the floor right there,
And being the smart ass that I am, I'd go, hide your shame, Nick. Hide your shame.
Oh my
We're
God.
going to be the best human spirit friends ever. I love it.
Oh, my God.
Man, we love you. We love you, man.
I appreciate that. I love you guys.
I'm so happy, just talking to you every time. It's so knowledgeable. Like, I'm learning different stuff from you from different perspectives that I'm like, I didn't think that way. So that's why I love talking to you, because it opens my mind up a little bit more to think outside the box. And really, that's what this is all about. So we appreciate everything that you've done in this life, and it's a ripple effect, man. We all feel your energy. It's good. It's positive.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. It does. I've experienced a lot. I've seen a lot, and there's so much that I just can't explain. I don't understand it. I can't explain it, but that's my definition of the paranormal. Can't understand it, can't explain it, can't deny it. So, the journey, I don't necessarily look for answers because I don't know that there are a lot of definitive answers, and there aren't many prescriptive methods that everyone's going to work in certain circumstances within the paranormal arena. But the journey sure is fun. It is fun to just look at everything that goes on in the world around us, and try to figure, maybe I'll understand this better someday, but figuratively file it away for future reference.
Yep.
I like that.
I love that, man. Well said. And I'm happy to call you my friend, too.
Ditto.
All this. So
Ditto.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I don't say that. I have a small circle of friendship, and it's pretty much right here, this video call. So it really doesn't stretch too far, man. And I really, really mean that. So thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
And
It means a lot to me. You guys, stay safe.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Do whatever you can to stay healthy. And hopefully we'll be through this crap in a short amount of time, sooner rather than later.
yeah.
But we got to do whatever we can to stay on this side of the veil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're doing it. We're living. We're having fun. This is the way to do it right here. We're laughing, having a good time. It's all you can do is just live in the moment. Chip, we appreciate everything. And Kindred Spirits Travel Channel, everyone watch it. I mean, Chip is amazing in it. Amy, Adam. I mean,
And watch Pajama Party. We're going to be releasing more episodes.
Yes. Paranormal Pajama Party.
Three of them are already out there on Vidi.space and on Amazon Prime Video.
Yep.
And so, and more to come. There's 5 more left. And
Yeah, Willie Ames, that episode is freaking hilarious. I love that guy so much. Willie Ames is great in it. Yeah.
Willie is right. Wait a minute, let me do it. I'm Willie Ames, bitch.
That's what he does. Oh, it's so great.
That's just the best. It's just the best. When he did that, I was like,
yeah,
that's gold.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I think I Sergio zoomed into his face or something when he did it. Like right on, it's like boom.
It's magic. He's magic.
Oh, it's great.
And just nicest guy.
Yep.
Man.
Well, season 2 for PPP, you will see G Crew get in bed with Chip Coffey.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All the scarfs will come together.
Right.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Too soon?
Why does that throw fear into my life right now?
Because I have a lot of energy.
He does.
I don't even know how to react to that.
Can you imagine, like, you lay in the middle, right? I'll just give you a visual picture. You in the middle, Johnny and Josh on your side, and then Chad, a ball of energy on this side, and then Nick Ruff, a ball of energy on this side, and just like, rah!
That's kind of the apocalypse right there in one bed.
Oh, my gosh.
That's apocalyptic.
When you're isolated, that's what, if this was the blue.
That's the way your brain goes. Your brain fantasizes. There it is.
Right.
Oh, that's not a fantasization in my brain. That is a destination and a manifestation.
Uh-oh. Well, guys, thank you. I appreciate it so much. You guys take good care of yourselves, and thank you for asking me to come on and cut up with you guys.
Thank you so much, Chip, for doing this.
Much.
Thanks, Chip. Don't cut anyone tonight. Goodbye.
I love you guys. Be good. Bye, Chad. Bye, Johnny. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Chip. Take care, buddy. Oh, that was great.
Man.
I mean, it's so funny. Like, he's so witty and quick. It doesn't matter what I say. He's already gotcha on the next sentence.
He's already got
Chad,
the rebuttal.
I can't get over your face, Chad, right now.
I know.
The camera just went to your face. I'm like,
It worked out. I just felt like I was like gonna take it off. I'm like, no, it's Chip. Like, I just want to be fabulous.
You look good, bro. Like, I like it. Yeah.
dude,
Thank
you look like Bowie right now.
Yeah.
Bowie
Yeah,
resonated
kind of,
with you.
yes.
This is great.
Yeah.
Ziggy Stardust.
It's just about owning your G.
You have to become one with your inner G, God damn it.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
You totally right there just sound like Christopher Walken on your drag of your words.
Let me tell you, sometimes you gotta own your G.
Keep going. Just a couple more, 2 more seconds.
Here we are on G Crew. These guys are super guys. I love them all. They really are spectacular.
so good, man.
Oh man!
The only time Scout's been quiet this whole conversation was right then. He's just looking at the camera like, oh.
Scout loves walking. You know, who doesn't love
walking, right?
Oh, I'm knocking over paintings now. Oh, it's so funny. Chad, bring us out on the G Crew. Just bring us out.
Yeah, here we are. We just interviewed Chip Coffey, and he was fabulous. We're going to wrap things up here on G Crew, and we're out.